Hey friends, my name is Linda Dolke. Today we're making this cute little card, or a variation on this one. I wanted to show you, I hope you can see it close up, I wanted to show you how to use the cotton paper to create this beautiful textured look on the trees. I think it's really cute and it's a fun technique, so stick with me and let's make it together. So the card that we're doing today is this really, I think it's a little bit unusual because it's got some fantastic texture on these trees. I hope you can see that okay. Can we see that all right? Okay. All right, so let's get started. It's very easy. I'll start with the base, and for the base I'm using a piece of soft succulent cardstock. I'm just going to fold that in half. This is half a sheet of A4, or if you're using US letter, it'll be half a sheet of that, and then fold it in half again to make your card base. And we're going to set that aside. And then I have a piece of this card front. This is just basic white, the normal basic white, and I have actually embossed this in advance with the Time Worn Type embossing folder. That's this one here. Now this is actually from the Nature's Harvest suite. Let me quickly show it to you. Actually, it's called Harvest Meadow, my mistake. But the stamp set and dies are called Nature's Harvest. This is the embossing folder here. It's called Time Worn Type, and it gives you kind of a distressed, almost vintage look, and I really, really like it. It's one of our wider embossing folders, so it's a 6x6 embossing folder, and it will give you a lovely, it's a 3D one, so it'll give you a lovely deep impression. All right, so I'm going to give this a little bit of a treatment. You can see here, I've sponged underneath here. I'm using a blending brush for this, and the ink color that I'm using is the same color as the cardstock match. One of the things I love about Stampin' Up is the fact that everything coordinates, so you know that if you're using a particular ink, there'll be cardstock to match that, and ribbons and a whole bunch of different things that you're going to be able to use that all coordinate with each other. So I'm going to start right here in the middle. I've grabbed some ink off my ink pad with the brush. I'm going to start in the middle, just make some little circles, and I'm going to get larger and larger and go into kind of like an oval. So I'm covering a lot of the base. I'm just going to get bigger and bigger. Maybe pick up some more ink. And so we just want to create a nice background where we've got some colour coming out from behind the trees. You can probably see that there. Don't worry if it's not completely even, that won't matter because the trees are going to be covering a fair amount of this anyway. I'm going to set that aside and we'll come back to that later. Now I'm going to show you how I made the trees. So for this I'm using the cotton paper that's currently available. This is the Eden's Garden bundle, and the bundle features a stamp set and a die set. These will be available in our new catalogue coming out in January 2022. But right now you can also get matching paper. This is beautiful DSP with gold foil. Cotton paper, which is like a very thick tissue paper if I had to describe it. And these are the garden gems. Now, I'm not using any of this today, but I am using the cotton paper, and that's what I'm going to use to create the texture on the trees, and I am going to use the garden gems. Just bear in mind that these three items are only available right now. Right now it's November 2021. These will be available until the 3rd of January or until sold out. So if you love them, I would encourage you to grab them soon because they will be gone not very far from now. However, if you didn't want to get, you can get everything on this page, like the stamps, the dies, the 2 lots of paper and the gems for $144 as a whole bundle. But if you are wanting to be a little bit budget conscious right now, you will be able to get these later in the new catalogue, and you could just get these guys right now to save having to outlay for all of it at once. So totally up to you, but if that sounds like a good idea, then that's a good suggestion. So let's have a look at the cotton paper because this is what I'm using to create my texture. Like I said, it's like a thick kind of tissue paper, and there's 2 colours in the pack. These are 12 by 12, 12 inch by 12 inch sheets. There are 5 sheets of each colour for a total of 10 sheets. You have 5 sheets of the soft succulent, which is the same colour as my cardstock base. and you have 5 sheets of the Evening Evergreen, which is a darker color. And you can see I've used both colors here for my 2 trees. So I've already, it's quite generous actually, because you get a total of 10 sheets. It's actually a good value pack. You will find that you'll have lots of ways to use them. And what we're doing today is we're going to use the 2 sheets. So I've got a piece here of the Evening Evergreen, and I've got a piece here of the soft succulent. Okay, so one of each, and you can see I've cut them smaller because I'm going to be putting them onto some smaller pieces, and then we're going to be cutting out the sheets of the cutting out the trees. So I've got one piece here which is going to be the right size for this little tree, and we've got one piece here which is going to be more than enough for the larger tree right here. Okay, so kind of cool what we're doing with these today. I'm going to start, I'll do the small one first. I'm going to grab some Tombow multi-purpose glue, so any liquid glue should do for this. I'm going to use the thick end. So I don't know if you realize, but the Tombow has 2 ends. We've got one end, which is the one I usually use to put, like it's got a finer tip, so you can put the glue exactly where you want it. And on the other end, we've got like a smushy end. And all I'm going to do is make sure there's a bit of glue coming out that smushy end, and I'm going to smush it all over this piece of basic white cardstock. Now you could use any cardstock. I'm using basic white because it's not too thick, and I've just smushed glue all over that. I'm going to get my soft succulent piece of the cotton paper, and I'm going to scrunch it up in my fingers. So I'm just going to kind of, like you would tissue paper if you were trying to get it to be really all bunched up, and that's exactly what we're going to do to create our texture. So I'm going to sort of bring it back out again. You can see you can get really scrunchy with this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it onto this piece of paper. Now I'm going to keep it scrunched up, so I'm going to fold it on itself. I'm going to kind of make sure that it's still scrunchy in the way it's looking, and we've got a bit of time because it's a liquid glue to kind of get it to do different things, and you know, go however you want it to go. All right, so there we go, just like that. Doesn't look like much at the moment, does it? I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the larger piece. All right, so I'm going to scrunch this one up as well, and then I'm going to get my smushy end of my glue, and I'm going to smush this all over the middle of my, actually my piece is a little bit bigger than I need, but I just want to have it there in the middle. I'm going to open up my dark green Evening Evergreen piece, and I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to sort of scrunch it around. And this is what creates the fantastic texture of these trees, which makes them look really almost 3D, which is kind of cool. Now this won't take very long to dry, but I do suggest that you allow it to give it a bit of time to dry. Just making sure. Now I have got my Christmas tree dies here. Here they are, and I'll just make sure. I probably should have done this before I stuck it down. This is the tree I'm going to be using. Yep. And yep, that's looking really good actually. So you can put this tree wherever you would like it to have the maximum amount of texture. And then the other one is a smaller tree, so that's this size tree. And let's pop that on there. Yep, that's looking great. All right, so now we'll just give these a little while to dry, maybe 5 minutes or so, and then they'll be ready to go through. So I'm going to set these to one side while I work on the little tag here. Now I'm using a smaller tag today than the one I did on the original card. I'm using the next size down. This is from the Tailor Made tags. I absolutely love these. I use them constantly, and I would recommend them to anyone who is looking for a good tag set. And seriously, tag sets are always wonderful. I wish we always never ever got rid of tag sets and always kept them, but it is nice to have a new one every now and then. So you can see we've got 4 tags that have like a round shape, these 4. And then we've got 4 tags that have more of a flat shape. And this is the smallest one of these. And then the other one, I've already got that one out. All right, so that's this one here. And you can see I've already gone ahead and I've cut that one. So just pop this one back. If you want to, you've also got reinforcements. So you've got little round reinforcements to go on these. And we've got little kind of half moon reinforcements for these ones, and you can mix and match them, but they're really fun, and tags will always never go out of style, so a good thing to have in your collection. All right, so while I'm waiting for those to dry, which they should nearly be dry by now actually, I'm just going to pull out, I've got a little joy stamp here, and I am going to get that one. Here it is, and we're going to pop that on a block. Just going to use a block, which is the smallest block size, and I'm going to use my Evening Evergreen ink. Just gently tap some ink onto that. Make sure I've got plenty of ink. And then I'm going to pop that just here on this little tag. I've got room there to add some bling if I would like to, and I would like to. And I'm also going to put in some, we've got some beautiful gold metallic ribbon. This is also in the latest mini catalogue. So I love these. The TaylorMade tags, if you're wondering, are not in the mini. They're in the annual catalogue. So those are around for a bit longer. If you're worried about being able to get them, they're going to be here around for some time, because the new mini catalogue doesn't, sorry, the annual catalogue doesn't finish until May next year. So that's May 2022. So I'm just going to, I put this through here. I'm going to tie this around here. Rather than having a bulky ribbon tied in a bow, sometimes you can get a better look. It'll sit flatter for you if you tie a bit of twine. This is a nice little trick if you're trying to avoid any bulk. And I do this quite a bit. So I'm just going to pull these loops so they're not too large. Just like that. And I've got my ribbon scissors here, so I'm just going to cut these just like that, and we'll snip this off. And we can always cut them shorter later if we want to. I've got a bit of a frayed end here, so I'm just going to snip that off. All right, I think that might be a little long, but we can, like I said, we can come back and do that later. All right, so we've got that sitting there to one side. All right, let's bring our little trees in, or our not yet trees. And you can see I've got a bit of glue here on this, so I'm actually going to cut that off because I don't want that to go through my machine. So I'm just going to cut along the top here. You could wait for it to get completely dry, or you can just chop off any glue, exposed glue pieces. You can cut those off. All right, let's bring in our cut and emboss machine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my large tree on here, find a place that I really like how crumpled it is. That looks pretty good. I like that. And I'm going to wind this through. Now, it will flatten out a little bit when you put it through your machine. Okay, don't worry about that. A little bit of flattening down is okay, all right? So you can see, though, we've still got some beautiful texture on this. Can you see it? On this lovely tree. Now, let's do our little tree. I'm deciding where I would like that to be. I like this very crumpled look, so I'm going to pop that here. Run this one through. Once again, the crumpling has flattened down a little bit. Don't worry, it's going to be fine for putting on our card. Can you see that lovely texture? Like I said, it gives it a real 3D look, which is lovely. So now let's bring our piece in here. We have these two trees. I'm going to have this one here at the back, and that one's kind of in the middle. So this one I'm going to stick it down flat. So let's use some Tombow for that. Maybe move it down a little bit. Whoop. Yeah, about there. And then this guy here, I'm going to pop him on dimensionals. So I think I'll just use some good old standard dimensionals. So 1, 2, and 3 will be enough to hold that in place. And there we go, just like that. All right, it's looking really cute. All right, let's add our little tag. The tag is going to go across here. You can have that sitting up on dimensionals, or you could attach it just to the tree. I am going to do dimensionals, so I'll go with 2 dimensionals, 1 and 2. So you can see this is actually quite a simple card, but the beautiful texture of these trees really gives it just something special. I'm going to cut these shorter now because they're definitely too long. There we go, that's looking cute. All right, let's pop this onto the card base that we folded right at the start. And then of course we'll have a little bit more, we want to add a little bit more bling, because you can never have enough bling on a card. Or, well, that's kind of true. I guess there is a place where you can have too much bling, but I don't know where that place is. I don't think most of my friends and customers know that I'm a bit of a bling girl. So, all right, so we have these gorgeous gems. And there are 2 types of gems. You can see I've been using mine quite a bit. I've got these soft succulent ones, which are kind of like petals. And then you've got these ones here, which are called cherry cobbler. And they're called that because when in the middle, you can see a red tone to them. But if you turn them sideways, you get lots of other colors in there as well. There's green and there's gold, there's blue and there's purple. And the same with these guys, blues, purples, greens, really, really lovely. So I'm going to use some of these, and I'm going to pop them on my little tree because, you know, it's a Christmas tree, so we need some decorations, right? So, and just like that. It's looking nice. Maybe an extra one down here. And I'm wondering, let's have a look and see how this would look. Let's do a little petal thingy here. There we go. We have a beautiful card. A little bit different to my first one. This one has another sentiment from the same set. This one has this saying, which is wishing you Christmas cheer and magical moments that last all year. This one I've just added joy. This one has the smaller tag. This one has a slightly larger tag. But I think they look really lovely. And it's that texture. Look at the texture on the trees. Don't they look fantastic? Love, love, love them. I just think this is such a cool way to use your cotton paper. If you're wondering what to do with it, this is a really great way to use it and to add texture to all kinds of things. But I think in this case, the trees look great. I hope you enjoyed that. I will, of course, be back here on Sunday night for my regular YouTube live. So if you haven't been to watch me live on a Sunday evening, and that's Sunday Sydney time, then I'd love to see you. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye.